Welcome to episode 1
Yes.
of our new show. She is Lais and I am the coach, and that is the name of our show.
First of all, if there's ever been a time for personal bubble, this is
We will always stay true to what we do. What you're doing is going to get you to the next place.
Right.
Throw the list away. What? It's only a matter of time before you cave.
You can look way better than you used to.
Such a great experience.
Well, like it knows everything you've given.
Shown curiosity. What if it actually works?
I've been chopped down como persona.
100%.
An extra vitamin C.
City right now. Sometimes it is a member.
Welcome, everybody. Peace out, everybody.
Welcome, everybody, to Lais and The Coach. And like I said 2 episodes ago or 3 episodes ago,
Something like
our
that.
goal in this chapter of our podcast
Journey.
is to talk to more gym owners. I've always wanted to talk to more gym owners. So we have quite a few gym owners that are coming on the show in the next couple of weeks. And today we have one that is local to us. And what we want to know today is how they got started, what they're doing, what their take on fitness is, where they're going to take their fitness business, and anything else that comes up. So without further ado, welcome to the show. Tell everybody who you are, where you're at, what you do, and then we will rock and roll a little bit.
Okay. Hi there. My name is Jennifer. I am the owner of Edge Fitness. It's a gym that I opened up just a few months ago in April. So in
Wow.
St. Cloud, Florida.
Cool.
So 5 months. 5 months in.
Awesome. That is
Now I'm really excited to chat with her.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me.
My
on the
pleasure.
podcast.
So the first question is always like, how, I know it's fairly new, but how did you get into this whole fitness thing?
Sure. Okay. So the whole fitness thing for my personal journey.
Yes.
My personal journey. I grew up running. So
Okay.
running is my background. Not necessarily for school and sports, but just as a way of keeping in shape. And I just really enjoyed it. Enjoyed the mind shift and energy of it. So that was my way of staying in shape primarily growing up and into my 20s and 30s. I did do some weight training, but didn't know what I didn't have a clue of what I was doing. I just,
Kind of stepped into it.
lifted. Yeah. I had an interest in doing a competition in my 40s. And so my first attempt, I didn't actually get on the stage. Circumstances just didn't work out. But going through part of that process really opened my eyes to, what I could do, what was really going to be expected of me. And it really gave me a taste for the lifestyle, for eating differently, for training. And a few years later, I actually had an opportunity to pursue that and compete, and I just loved it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
The biggest thing that I liked about it was that I wanted to transform myself. I wanted to push my body and see what I could do. But I wanted my results to be sustainable. So I went into it with the mindset of I'm going to learn everything I can possibly learn from, especially the nutrition, because that part I never really felt like I quite got. So I really wanted to understand the nutrition. I really wanted to push what I could do in the gym. But I wanted my results to be sustainable. And I had a lot of people in the beginning say, be prepared because you're going to look amazing, by the time you get to the stage. And then you're going to go off stage and you're going to gain a bunch of weight. You're going to get fluffy and it's going to be a mind screw. And so, I sort of took a deep breath and that's not what I want out of this. That's not my goal. My goal is I want to figure out how to make this work for, a lifestyle. So I started studying some different bikini competitors and what they did on their off seasons and how some of them did bulk up a little bit and then some of them stayed really lean and how did they do what they were doing. And so my mindset was I'm not ending at this stage. That's like phase 1. And phase 2 is figuring out how to make this work. And so I have loved the whole process of not just competing, but also making those results to an extent, because there is that part where you it's not realistic, but finding that realistic sweet spot and being able to live that and love that and enjoy that.
So, wow, how
I love
cool.
that.
Yeah.
We're speaking our language.
Yeah.
Sustainability is our jam.
Yes.
And like, how did that transition from like stepping on stage to you helping people already? Were you coaching people, or was there a jump from your personal journey to like the coaching side?
Sure. It was a jump after
Okay.
I did that. Let's see. When
So you did the show just for you.
I did the show
And
just
you weren't
for me.
coaching anybody before that?
No.
Or were you in a different field?
Yes.
Okay.
Which comes into play with
Okay.
my helping people. Yes, I am a nurse by profession.
Okay, great.
So, and I was a hospice nurse for the last 9 years. So part of how these two worlds kind of merged together was I started seeing more and more people on my services that were getting younger, and then they had issues that didn't need to end the way they were ending, and preventable or manageable, one of the two. And it broke my heart, and even their family members, too. And I just started seeing this place where I'm like, I want to help people get off my services. I want to see them change these things and work through these issues and help them to lead better, fuller lives. And because it can be done. And so seeing that and starting to have that heart for that different space in life. And then what I was personally able to do in my own life and understanding how to sustain healthy living just sort of began to blend together.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And how long between are you still a practicing nurse?
And no,
No.
not in that way. I'm a nurse health coach.
Okay.
So
Got it.
I about 2 years ago I went into
Okay, so walk us through that transition.
Okay.
So you're
Yeah.
working in the hospice
yes.
and you're a nurse, but you're also like pursuing just for you, like learning about nutrition and
Yes.
prepping for a show and all the things.
Yes.
And then how does that play out? Like how does that go?
Well, the transition sort of just evolved through. I was doing some travel hospice nursing at the time, and when I came back to Florida, I took a management position, so I sort of stepped back. And it was during that year that I was able to take a little bit more time to sort of dream the dream of how do I make this shift work, and what is it that my role is going to look like in people's lives, and how can I make this shift, because there isn't really a job. I can't really go somewhere and say I want to do this for you. So I really
Needed to
kind of
create
had
it?
to create it,
Yeah.
for myself. And there are nurse health coaches, but it's a lot more on the West Coast, and it really is more of an individual
Got it.
kind of thing. So not really something that you go and look.
Yeah,
for.
there's really no career path.
No,
that
it's,
you could
it's a create your own.
Yeah. What was that? Your first prep? Were you still like full-time working? Okay, so what was that first prep like? Overall, like, was it completely different than you thought? How did you build in like your food and your training to your work schedule? Like all of it.
So I was fortunate at the time. I was working full time, but I was working as an agency nurse. So I had the flexibility to create my own schedule.
Okay.
So I did have the benefit of that. And I had the choice of working 8 or 12-hour shifts. So I really did prioritize my training.
Okay.
And I did what I was told. If I had to do a 2 a day, I was doing a 2 a day. I was making it work. I thankfully was able to fit my job around my training.
Was it more training than you expected? Like when you first thought about it?
I think because the very first time, a few years before, I got a taste of what was coming. I had an idea of what it was going to be.
What was the hardest part of that first prep for you?
The first prep.
The first time.
The first time.
When you were just down.
Sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, you're right. The first time, the hardest part was juggling my kids and my family and working. And I had a little bit more on my plate. This was some years later, so my kids were grown. I didn't have, I wasn't taking care of smaller kids. So my family dynamic was different. So that helped. That did help a lot. I think that was one of the hardest things with the first prep, was trying to get it all in.
And do you think, looking back now, was the intentionality behind it different? Like that first go around, was it still 50-50 in your mind? Were you like, well, if this works out, I'll do it. But if I kind of don't get in the kind of shape I think, I won't. Or were you did you just not do it because whatever happened? Because we hear
that's a good question.
We hear all of that.
Yes.
I think somewhere between, well, I will say I wasn't ready, but I needed probably another month, another 6 weeks, because I couldn't put in 100%.
Okay.
So outside of that, my family dynamic was not supportive. So
Got it.
when it came down to the point of really having to choose, because I did have support up to a certain point, my family was more important to me. So if my family is not on board and this is something that they can't handle or don't like, then this isn't more important than them.
And did you do like a bikini show, fitness, figure?
It was bikini.
Okay.
Yeah.
NPC, NGA?
NPC.
NPC. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the reason that I ask is because like we hear that all the time. I don't know if I'm going to be ready. I need more time. Right. And one of the things that we've always said is like, well, let's define what ready means, right? Especially for somebody competing for the first time,
Especially for the first time.
right? It's like, what does ready mean to you, right? I think a lot of times when people are doing their first show, they have a lot of ideas of what ready is supposed to look like. And then they pair that with their expectations of what's supposed to happen during that first encounter, right? And they, for the most part, at least like what we've observed, is they still haven't developed the ability to distinguish where they are from what they see online. They watch the pros, they watch this, and they're like,
Seasoned competitors.
I'm stepping on stage with that. And they're like, no, you're not. Right? It's like, was there some of that happening with you, or was this solely like a solo, I just want to do this for me, and if I never do it again, I'll be happy?
I was doing it for me.
Okay.
I think I had something to prove to myself. I really wanted to get into better shape, just because running wasn't enough. My coach was the one telling me a month out that I wasn't ready.
Okay.
And so it just came down to leanness.
Okay.
So, honestly, at the time, I thought I was doing pretty darn good. I don't know what to expect out of the next 4
Right,
weeks. So
right.
I think I'm in a good spot. But she's like, you need a couple more weeks.
At
So,
that point, I didn't mean to cut you off, but at that
okay.
point, do you feel that you looked the best you ever had in your
yes.
life?
Hands down.
Okay.
The transformation. I wasn't overweight at the time, but
Sure.
There's still a transformation.
But there's levels, right? There's
there
levels.
is. There
Yeah.
really is a big transformation, and so the muscle growth and the body shaping was drastically different.
How did that feel like to hear that from your coach?
It was honestly at the moment was a hard pill to swallow. It made me cry because like I said, I was putting in 80%, but that 80% was all in, So
And you felt
because
good
I felt
about-
really good about where I was at. Yeah.
And I think that that's a valid point, because without,
I don't think we've ever been like both of us like,
I know. I think it's a good point to make, because I believe, obviously, as a coach, just like you, that who you hire and who you choose to put in your corner for any process, especially a life-altering one like that one, which is not just your body, right? There's a lot of mindset stuff that goes into it. It's a spiritual journey, if
Yeah.
and it's like you have to have the right person for you in your corner. I think every coach has strengths, every coach has weaknesses, and nobody is for everybody. But I do think that you need your type of person to guide you through that, because like I would never do something like that. You know what I mean? Just because, again, like, how do you feel about what you look like? And like everyone's approach is different, but as a competitor who gets coached, and also as a coach, you're talking about that, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, and it's not to talk bad about anybody, but I'm more like, wow, like I can't even imagine how that feels for somebody, which is why I'm like, how did that make you feel? Because I don't know.
it's funny because what I heard is also I'm giving it 80%. And for like, I know you don't know, but most of the people that we coach are moms, right? That are doing this for themselves.
that are in their 40s.
Yeah.
That's why when you're like, I decided to do this in my 40s.
And one of the things that I always try to break down is like the 100% that you have to give versus the 100% that is required sometimes don't look different. But just because this is all you have allocated for this doesn't mean that you didn't give it your all. That just happened to be all you could give it,
Yes.
right? Because there were other external factors that are just as important. And I think that like none of them are, or none of the people that we normally work with are looking to become professional athletes. We've always said, like, there's no goal like that. There's no vacation that you're going to book that'll make you do it. There is no wedding. There's no high school reunion that you are going to eat on time, train twice a day. That's never going to happen. But this goal will make it happen. But I don't think that everybody budgets for the amount of personal energy that it's going to take and what they actually have to give it. And then they kind of like beat themselves up a little bit because they don't feel like they're giving it their all, but it's like, but you are. You're giving it all you've got. And that all you've got might look different than somebody that doesn't have kids or doesn't work full time. And you can't compare it to that. It's
the magic of the journey. Right, like the magic of the journey is seeing what you can do and giving it everything you can with what you got in that moment.
And it just strikes, like we were talking about this week, like there's somebody that we were, she's in the middle of moving from apartment to a house. She's out of town speaking somewhere. Like she's got 77 things going on, but she still shows up to work out. It's like, that's the win.
Yes.
You know, because you can
100%.
easily say, not this week. I've got too much on my plate.
Yes.
But then sometimes they don't see it. And it's like, oh, you're missing it.
And I think that when you ask the question, like, did you back out of that first prep because you didn't think you were ready? Because that's normally what you would see. Someone would be like, I'm not going to be ready. And we're like, what does ready mean to you? Because you're doing this for the first time. And our only goal here is for you to achieve your best inside of this
We want to
time.
make it.
Right. And make it there and have that experience and see what you're capable of. And then after that, should you,
may hate it.
Should you want to pursue a more competitive approach? Should you want to tighten this and change that? Then we can have that conversation. But that first one really is about like, let me do something for me. Let me see what I can do. Let me transform. And so it's interesting and actually unique to hear the other side of that. Where it wasn't you.
On the way here today, we were just talking like her first show. She was terrified backstage. She was going to walk out. Right.
Well, starters, when I said, do you think I can do this? And you said yes. I said, how long? Like 2 years? You're like, 6 months. I'm like, absolutely not. There's no way. And even he's like, all right, like, because, you know, he's the professional, that he's been a nutritionist for 30 years. I'm like, all right, this is your jam, not mine. And so for me, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do what he says, but I don't think it's going to work. Like, there's no way this is going to happen in 6 months. Like, he's crazy. So. But
there we are. She's backstage. She's like, I want to leave.
Yeah,
like, I did it. I'm in my bikini.
I'm in shape.
I'm here.
Did it.
Done. Like, I don't even need to step on stage, right? It's like, those are a lot of the thoughts that for the first time person, it's like, what actually mattered? Did you need to get on stage? Did you not? Like, you did it. You saw it through.
Yeah.
But then the moment on stage changes everything, right?
For me,
as soon as the lights hit.
I always describe it like a 2-part thing. Like, part 1 is making it there because you had to do the work. You had to become the person. You had to, only you know what you needed to give to get. But then part 2 is like, what's on the other side of like, those curtains, right? It's like once you go through and you're under the lights and whatever it is you experience and you leave and you take 5 minutes and like that's like that's a 2.0 version of you, you know?
Cool.
That's amazing.
So back to you.
I'm like, oh my God, you're coaching what?
That's really interesting to hear your perspective and that's not typical.
Well, it is typical.
I think it is typical.
It is typical. We have heard it.
You're not. It's not typical.
We would never do that.
You know, and I think that that's a great point. And I think that it always what changes. We were literally just watching. I like track and field. Back to running.
He loves it.
Yeah, like so we were watching the World Championships in Tokyo, right? And you can't use the same mindset of somebody that's trying to shave off 1/10 of a second off their best to be the best in the world. You can't use that level of thinking to somebody who's running a 5K in their neighborhood,
so true.
Right?
Yes.
And then what happens is if you're working with the same person, same coach, he's world champion, like he's not gonna talk to you any different. He may not have the level of empathy required to say, you're doing great. We're gonna finish this 5K. He's thinking, let's kill everyone, right? It's like, so it isn't necessarily a fault on a coaching style, but I think a lot of times it's like, what are you trying to get out of it? And on our side, it's mostly like, we want to facilitate the process because we see what's on the other side of that. Like once you get off stage, like we're trying to get off stage because we know what's on the other side of that.
Well, and let's also be honest, because you're also very nice and understanding. There are some fucked up coaches who believe that the person that's on stage is a representation of their work.
Right.
We just don't really believe that to be true. We
I would agree
believe,
with that.
right? Like to us, what it is, it's like, and again, I agree with what you said, but I don't look at that. We don't look at that as a representation of our work. We look at that as us as a team did that, because sure, we mapped it out, we guided you through it, we did all the things, but then you ate the food and you trained, right? So it's a collective, it takes a village. And so a lot of times when somebody goes up there, and we have seen it and we have heard people be like, you're not gonna go up there and represent me like that. It's like, whoa, like this isn't about you. Like this is about this person, right?
Yes.
This is a human with feelings and things that they're trying to accomplish and get out of this. And my only role is to get them there. And everyone's going to be different, especially a first timer.
And I also would say it depends on the goal the person has.
Right.
Because if somebody like if somebody comes to us and says, listen, I'm trying to win, I'm like, all right, that conversation's different than I've never done this before. Right? It's like,
Totally.
where are you in your, maybe it's your first time and you're like, I would like to win a show. That's very different than I would like to step on stage.
Yes.
Two different talks, right? So you can't, for the most part, approach that the same way.
That's true.
And I think that that's sometimes where it gets lost, where, you know, somebody that's using the stage moment as leverage to stay consistent and be committed for an extended period of time and exceed whatever transformation they'd ever seen. It's like, that's an amazing goal on its own.
It is.
What happens after that is separate, but is that your intention? Like, are you going to be beyond satisfied from doing that? If the answer is no, then again, we need to talk a little bit more. But if the answer is yes, then let's focus on that. But like anything else, people along the way, they start comparing and they start watching other people. It's like, oh, I don't look that good. And then it does play a lot of, you know, mental stuff.
Because we do the other side too, right? Like, you want to be a pro, you're going to have to do pro shit.
Right.
Like, but that's a different conversation.
That is a different conversation.
You know?
So you do your first show finally.
I do my first show finally.
How is that?
Yes. Amazing.
Good.
Absolutely amazing. But it was...
Was it local?
It was on the West Coast. It was the Ironman, NPC Ironman.
California?
No.
West
I'm
Coast of
sorry,
Florida.
West Coast of Florida.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was in Boca.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 3 years ago.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, 3 years ago.
Yeah. 21.
And for a runner and a fitness person, how was the posing side of things? Sorry, the posing coach in me has
I think the posing was the hardest thing for me.
Yeah.
That just came so awkwardly.
Yeah.
It really did. I think I definitely loved the training more than the posing. Yeah.
There's something we've worked with quite a few runners. There's something about runners that you guys are like want to grit, like you want to grind it out, like, you know, it's mental,
Yeah.
right? Because you're also sometimes, I think, just anecdotally looking for the same thing that running does for you inside of a weight training session.
Yes.
And a lot of times that front and center, your front and center of the room, lights on you, isn't necessarily like what you want, you know?
Yeah.
But it's almost like you need both, because
You do.
without the stage moment, then the other stuff doesn't happen.
And the grace, right, and to be able to showcase it, it brings a whole other experience to this transformation, like a whole other piece of the puzzle to the transformation.
It really does. It really does.
So how does the transition, how many shows have you done?
I've only done one.
Okay.
I've prepped for 3.
Okay.
But I've only
Okay,
done
so
one.
we're gonna talk about that third prep then.
Okay, yeah. 2 before your first show or 1 after?
After.
After, okay. So more recent?
Yes.
Cool.
So again, you know what I found? I just love the process and I love the challenge. I don't need to be on the stage. I just really love going through it. Is what I've
What you've
found
discovered.
out about myself.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
We actually talked to someone now a couple months ago that was doing triathlons.
Okay.
Right. And we were talking about the process. It's like so much more goes into the process. Because again, if you look at the race is the one event, but all of the training leading to the race that prepares you for that one thing, like, you know, I always say the promise is in the process, right? It's like, and that's a lot of times where the people that are not fitness lovers fall short a little bit because they don't love the process. They just want the outcome. But when you love the process, then a lot of times you don't necessarily need the deadline because you're living inside of that process at all times.
Yes.
And it becomes a lot easier to sustain.
It
But
does.
not everybody
It does.
makes it to that love for the process part.
Yep.
You know, it's a hate for the process.
It's a love-hate relationship.
So how do we go from that transition in work where you take a managerial position, you're more in the office, to I think I want to open my own place?
Okay. So it didn't just
How big of a gap is that? Like
2 year gap.
2 years? Okay.
2 year gap. So
And I want to hear about the support of that too, because if you didn't really get enough support to go on stage the first time, I can't even imagine what people had to say about you're going to go from nursing to what?
yeah. Well, I got a divorce in the middle of that.
Okay.
So that sort of shifted my challenge, there. So now it's just me and
Challenge
I'm
free.
making the choices.
Challenge free.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So it freed me up to be a little more open with things that I wanted to
Cool.
venture
For
out and
sure.
do.
That's
So,
great.
Yeah. But I was a nurse manager and just began to dream about this, and I actually went through a couple of months where my grandfather went on to hospice,
Okay.
and in that I needed to help my family with him, of course. I'm going to be there and be the one to do that. But in that, I was transitioning from. My goal was to transition out of the nurse management and go back into travel nursing.
Okay.
So that I had a more freed up schedule. And in the process of that, of me closing one job and starting another, he got sick. He got sick enough to be on hospice. And I ended up not going on the travel, had already quit my other job. And so therefore I had no job, and it freed me up to take my step. So
Don't you love it when the universe just conspires for you?
I do.
Oh, love that.
God just totally worked that
Yes.
out. So here you go. And
Yes.
it was really just sort of it was very circumstantial. I wouldn't quite have done it that way. I would have lingered.
Of
And
course.
it just took care of itself. So
Love it.
yeah. So I spent a little bit of time, about a month, taking care of him and closing that chapter with him. And then I just went to work and said, okay, how am I doing this? And began to, market myself and talk to the people that I knew, and started getting it really started with nutrition. I didn't start with the training. I started with the nutrition. And ultimately that is more of my heart. But they absolutely go together,
Right.
don't they? You need them both. So I started doing that. I started doing some one-on-ones with the nutrition, and then got involved at a different gym that has since closed, a small gym, and started doing some nutrition for clients in her gym, which ended up leading me. I had already gotten my certification for training, but that led me into being able to have an opportunity to do some training too for people.
Cool.
So then I started doing them both and did that mobile and a little bit in her place for about a year and a half. And then in December, January of this year, a space opened up.
Wow.
And I had found myself just sort of dreaming, like, where do I see myself in the next 2 or 3 years? And I love the wellness, just the whole wellness side is where I want to be. And so I just started thinking about what it would be like to have a wellness center. And have an actual space for people to go to. Getting mobile was a little tricky at times. So having a place to go would be great. And then the opportunity just really presented itself. And so I did talk to the people that I value their business opinions and, need their support and family. And everybody was really on board with the plan. And so it took me a couple of months to get it open. But I have a fully functioning gym in St. Cloud now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
I love that story.
Was it? There's a million questions after that,
Yeah,
but
sure.
was it everything that you thought it was going to be when you got started? Was it more? Was it less? Was it more complex?
Sure. I think it's actually been pretty close to what I expected.
Okay.
And I'm very grateful because things are not always like that. There is a bit of a learning curve, but I think overall things are happening the way that I was hoping that they would.
Okay. Good.
That's
Good.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I'll tell you, I never budgeted for plumbing in my head. I never thought about electricity. I never thought about permits, and when I opened, I was like, I want to work out.
Yeah.
I never thought about any of those things. And then one day I'm like cleaning a toilet. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, this is what I did. This is what I saw. This is what owning a business is. It's like, it's like, were there some of those moments for you, or? or had you built that into your, this is going to be some work?
Sure. I think because it took me a couple of months to get open, by the time I was open, I was ready for that. I think you're right. Like with the initially getting it open was a little more challenging than I thought it would be. So getting the permits, and once I knew what I had to get open, actually getting people to call me back or getting people to inspect on time and things like that was definitely, I didn't expect it to take quite so long.
Right.
For
You
sure.
would think.
I was ready in February and we didn't open until April.
Wow.
So I guess that was the learning curve.
And so, like, at your gym, do you practice a particular style of fitness? Do you have your own training philosophy? Is it just open to the public? Like, what's going on at Edge Fitness?
Sure. I think the one thing that I feel is unique about us and that I love and is really important to me, and definitely a large part of the reason why I chose to go the gym route and not just stick to nutrition and more nurse practitioner focused part is I really love and value the entrepreneurial spirit of the trainer. And we all have a reason why we're doing what we're doing. And we want to be able to do that our way. And, we want the flexibility. We want to be able to make the money. And there's a struggle because you either have to be fully on your own and really struggling to try to figure this out mobile, or maybe you have a garage gym, or you're working for somebody else and they're taking they're making decisions about how much money, the sessions are, how much you're getting. They're getting a huge cut of what you could be making if you were doing this on your own. And if you are trying to go and do it on your own and you're trying to slip in a gym to get better, quality workouts, you're doing it on the fly and you're looking behind your back. And so there's just this, I felt like there was a missing piece there. So for me in my gym, I rent space to trainers. So nobody works for me. You have the freedom to come in and rent an hour by the hour of the week or the month. Come in and train your people, and you get a zone that's all yours. You're not competing for space. We do have certain pieces of equipment in the center that are shared space. And then of course, like the whole array of dumbbells, things like that are all shared.
Sure.
But you have your own Smith machine, free bar, dual cables, landmine. That whole setup is yours for the hour to train how you want. And you can train up to 2 people at a time for the same price. And you get the freedom to do things your way. You're making your own decisions about your money. And you have a gym that you can use freely, however you want to use it.
That's awesome.
I love that.
I think makes me most happy about my gym.
Was that part of your plan the whole time?
100%.
Okay.
Yes. I thought about the gym with that completely in mind.
Got it.
If I had a gym, this is how I would do it. And I just want to be in support of people being creative and having their own thing that they get to do.
Without having to open a facility on their own, because not everybody can, not everybody wants to, right?
Right.
Yeah, most trainers are fitness people. Like, they don't want to be business people.
You want to be able to train. You want to be able to train. You want to be able to use good equipment.
Right.
And, it's nice to be mobile sometimes. Sometimes it's great to have that flexibility and go to people's homes or, do something outside or whatever. But to be able to have a place too where you can go to and really like dig in, is really nice too. So I love being able to provide that.
I love
change.
that. You actually have said that so often, how a lot of times we have a gift or even just a high interest in something. Like people love training and they love training people, but it's like, that's not necessarily like entrepreneurship, right? Like the entrepreneur is opening the space, is thinking about the permits, is fixing the plumbing, is working on the marketing, it's making sure that people are getting through the door. Like there's so much more than just, I love to train and I love to train people and talk to them. And like, so it's like, not every trainer is an entrepreneur.
No.
Right.
And not every entrepreneur is a trainer. Plenty of these people that just open gyms, they just open the gym and it's not really what they do. It's an investment.
Yes.
And that goes for anything, right? Like not every, whatever, jujitsu instructor or person that likes to cook, like, so they are 2 very separate things. So I love that because it does give people an opportunity to do the thing that they love without having to be an entrepreneur per se. You still are, you got to find your clients, you got to, right? But you don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about everything else that comes with running a business, especially like having a physical space,
The hospice stuff is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Mostly because I've always tried to paint the picture of the importance of strength training earlier on in life. And it's not sexy, and it's a really bad ad when somebody sees it, and nobody really cares until that
Yes.
moment, right?
Yes.
And it becomes a conflicting thing to know what's coming and try to get somebody to buy into the amount of leverage that they're going to build simply by starting a little bit sooner, and all the things that they're going to avoid when they can't see it, right? It's how much does that play into what you're doing now? Or maybe like the way you deliver your message now?
I think it has a big impact. What did they say? You're either going to take care of your health by choice or by obligation. So make it a choice now. I think being able to have a lot of stories to tell, helps people a little bit. Just the reality of what things look like later on down the road when we're not taking care of ourselves. It does have a big impact on me personally when I'm talking to somebody, because we have to be taking care of ourselves now in order to stay out of my services later.
For sure.
Because it's one thing to be like a nurse, right? A doctor. We coach plenty of nurses, doctors. Like you guys are very knowledgeable with, let's say, how the body works or how things. But it's another thing to be with people in their last moments, like in their worst moments. Like
Yes,
you're
most
at the
vulnerable.
end, and we're all gonna get to the end, right? But how we get to the end, I think, depends on, for the most part, what kind of life we live. And I think that has to be very like transformative for somebody to experience that many ends.
Yeah.
Or be around, so right? Like that's got to give you a different perspective
Yes.
on everything, but especially how somebody can lead their life to get to that place not like that.
What do you think most people miss?
Miss in terms of
In terms of like the level of importance that their fitness actually plays in the amount of longevity or the quality of their longevity. What do you think that they miss overall? Like, is the message not being portrayed the right way? Overall, like everybody hears the same stuff.
I think it's two things. I think number one, we take for granted what we can do now and how it's going to translate later. I also think people just accept the idea that, well, we're getting older. I'm tired, or I hurt here because I'm just getting older, and they just accept it and they don't do anything about it, and then they're babying it, and now it's not just, their knee pain, now they have hip pain, or and it's just, oh, I'm older. So it's a mindset of acceptance of something that's not true. So, and that just takes people down this path of declining much more quickly than they need to. When people start realizing that, oh, this isn't normal, or it's not normal. This actually can be treated and
doesn't
fixed
have to
and
be
make it
this
better.
way.
I don't have
Right.
to be in this pain now.
Yes.
Or maybe I'm always going to be in pain because it's something I can't change, but I can improve the pain. I can manage the pain so that I can sit on the floor or, walk 10 steps instead of 2. Little things make a big difference. So just kind of the mindset shift that this isn't, getting older isn't something that I have to automatically accept that I'm breaking down. I actually can do something about this, and not drastic things. I mean, walking all by itself,
Right.
Walking backwards by itself. 2 things that make a huge difference in your life if you just put a little bit of effort into maintaining. So I think for me, that shifting people's minds from that is one of the beginning stages for me.
What have you heard, I guess, over time is like one of the bigger regrets? Like,
I was just gonna say that. I'd be going around asking everybody, "What's your biggest regret?"
but
what can I learn from someone that?
But I asked that with a little bit of hesitation, because I also thought about like, while listening to somebody's regrets should stop you and say like, wow, I should really pay attention to that. It's like at the same time, be like, well, I'll worry about that later. But what have you heard that like something that maybe is common or stands out?
Honestly, I think the one thing for me, dealing with a lot of people dying from lung issues, a lot of people regret smoking, which is probably one of the bigger regrets that I have heard. So
So funny because that's not talked about that much.
Yeah, it's not really a thing anymore.
No.
Compared.
Well,
But it
is.
It is.
You're on hospice. I see it all the time.
But that's what I'm saying. Like we don't see, like, you know, when we're younger, like there's cigarette
not
ads
the same.
everywhere, but no one's talking about it as much. But the impact, like the stuff they do now, is worse, right? It's like, is there a moment where somebody young says, "Man, I probably should not do that"?
Yeah,
you know, does it have the impact that it should?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so frustrating sometimes, right? It's what I said at the beginning. It's like, it's so frustrating to know, like, man, if you just walked,
Yes.
you know, this could be so different for you. And to see people put so many things in front of that, thinking that they're going to get to it is very difficult. Because
Or thinking that it's part of it.
Right.
Right? We were talking about that the other
Yes.
day. People do that with everything, with relationships. Like, well, this is just what happens after a certain amount of time. They do that with their kids. They do that with their work. I'm not supposed to love my work. I go, I do what I need to do, and I come out. Like, I'm getting older. There's going to be I'm forgetting everything. Like, everyone just thinks that life is like this linear, like, death sentence, really, because
Yes.
that's where we're all heading, right? But that,
Right.
like, this is just how it goes. And, like, we refuse to accept that this is just how anything goes because look around. It doesn't have to. Right? But it's like,
Yes.
where is it getting missed that some people will say it doesn't have to, let me do something, but the majority won't.
Yeah. What do you see, like, what would be the best case scenario for you if everything played out the way that you wanted to play out with your gym? Like, what is the best case scenario in terms of the level of impact that you could have?
Well, seeing more people in the community just getting healthy, just getting active, eating better, being excited about their life and the journey. Is that what you're talking about? Okay. Yeah. I would love to see that. I love seeing somebody who is struggling with their health, and just as they start making those mental shifts, and you know, like we were just saying, those moments, those opportunities where we have that's just how it is, and go, hold on, there's an opportunity there. Does it really have to be that way? Why does it have to be that way? Digging into that and starting to see them shift their mindset and getting excited about walking more or lifting weights or playing with their kids on the floor, you know, just getting a little bit more excited about the things that they just set aside. I would love to see that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. If everybody like just did a little bit.
A little bit. We could change the world.
People laugh at me, but I really do believe in this silly statement, and it says, "How do you eat an elephant?"
One bite at a time.
Right.
I always come back to that because it's so true.
Right.
Everything feels overwhelming at first. Take a bite of it. What's one bite that you can take right now? If that's just one thing on your plate or a walk down the sidewalk, that's doable. One bite is chewable. You'll get to the elephant over time.
Right.
But right now, we just need to take a bite.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, I
Absolutely.
love that.
That's great.
I love that.
How does your, like, is the gym only for coaching? Like, is it open to the public? Okay, so it's
Sure.
coaching only.
No.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. It was until about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yes, and I did open it for a limited number of members. So,
Okay.
so I do have an open gym now.
Okay,
so
cool.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So people can come and train.
That's
And they
awesome.
can just come in an hour. Do they need to have a session? Is there classes?
We do have group classes. We don't have a lot of them, but yes, we do have group classes. We are primarily personal training
Okay.
in the gym, but they can come and train on their own during open hours and get a good workout in. And then of course the nutrition as well. And I do have an ice bath.
Oh,
we
awesome.
have a little bit of recovery going on over
Very
there
cool.
too. Yeah.
What's your take on, let's talk a little bit about the nutrition stuff, because there's obviously tons of different philosophies and different takes
Sure.
on it. And before you even answer, I will tell you, like, I think everything is a good idea as long as it's working for the person, right? So it's more of a, like, what is your personal, like, philosophy on eating and
Sure.
fueling and all of that stuff?
Sure. I take a very balanced approach when it comes to that. And I do believe in macro-based eating. I think that is a very solid way to build your plate. But I do believe in a very balanced way of eating. So it has a lot to do with more about whole foods and than anything else. I think that diet, I'm going to call them fads, not necessarily fads, but those unique, the unique ones, you know,
The ones with the names.
keto or, you know, going
Paleo,
no
zone
carb or
Atkins.
paleo. They're tools, in a toolbox
Right.
that sometimes you take out and use depending on what a person favors, what they like, what they don't like, what works for them. But they're tools. At the end of the day, we have to come back to what is doable, what is sustainable, what is realistic for our own personal life. And if it's not sustainable for the long haul, then is that really the best thing for you to be doing? Maybe for a season to get to a point, but then we got to go back to what is healthy, sustainable eating for you for the long haul.
Yeah.
So, and I think that ultimately comes down to having a balanced appreciation for food, for protein, carbs, and fats, and working with macros.
Were you always of that thought process, or did you kind of arrive there after some,
I've arrived at that through the process of learning.
Okay. Have you tried different eating styles?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. More after the fact out of curiosity.
Okay.
Got it.
Learning it on myself.
Right, to see how it feels.
Yes. Could I do this?
For more than a week.
Looking at it, right,
Spoken like a true
exactly.
coach. I am the guinea pig.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Yes. Well, if I can, I kind of have that thing. If I can't do it, can I really expect somebody else to?
Yeah.
Although people are different. Some people gravitate
For
towards,
sure.
No carbs or intermittent fasting or whatever, and that's
right.
Right, to
It's
your
fine.
point, everything works if it works for the person.
Yes.
Right.
That's
Right.
ultimately, the sustainability is ultimately that. Like,
Yes.
does it work for you? Because my perfect way of eating could be a nightmare for you and vice versa. But I agree with you with everything that you said. There still needs to be a method to the madness.
yes. And I do believe very strongly in whole foods. The more whole foods that you can eat, and by whole foods I just mean as little processing as possible. The more that you can eat like that, the better your body feels, the better it acts. The more it does for you than when you're eating a whole lot of processed foods all the time. So part of the balance and is that.
Have you found, as you've spoken to more people over the years, that people have a very limited understanding of nutrition, or have you found that people just need some clarity?
I think people have no idea what
Okay.
they're eating.
Agreed.
I was trying to be
No
nice.
idea.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. I'm like, I know you're very nice and patient. They are clueless. And you can't fault them. And I say
No.
this all the time. No one ever taught me anything. Even when you did the whole nutrition for a little bit in school with the pyramid.
No.
You're not understanding what that means.
No.
Right? It's like everything is just passed down, and it's like Dumb and Dumber. It's like everything is passed down by someone who knew even less than the person before them.
Yes.
Right? And then a lot of it is cultural and all the things. But it's like when I started this journey years ago, I had no idea. Like, I understand bread is a carb, right? But it's like it would have to be that basic.
Yes.
It's like you don't understand the function of anything. You don't understand. No one understands. And the things that people think are a fat or a carb, it's just like, but you can't fault them. Like, that's one of the things that
Right.
I never take any kind of way, because I'm like, I don't blame you. Like, most people have no idea. They don't
It's
know
confusing.
anything. And you should know, because there is nothing more important than how we treat our bodies,
Yes.
right? So it's like, there's nothing more important than what are you eating? What are you doing to your body? How are you doing it for you, for where you're at? Like, there's nothing more important than that, yet nobody knows how to do it.
Yes.
It's
I have
crazy.
a two-part question. Part one is, do you find in your practice, do you find that a lot of the eating styles are identity-based, so much so that it's hard for people to break away from it? I'll give you the second part before you answer that
Okay.
one. One of the things that I've said with a little bit of wittiness and sarcasm is always like, I could probably change your religious beliefs before I change your eating style.
I don't think you're wrong in that. People very, very
they're-
tightly onto their food.
And
Yes.
it doesn't matter how much evidence you provide, it's like they can't let go, right? And I often wonder, is it like how much of your identity is tied into that? Where the same way your hair color is like you would never dye it, orange, right? It's like, because that's not you. It's like, how much of you is in the I can't eat after 6. I just can't,
Carbs make me fat.
Yes.
Right, whatever the thing is. Like, have you found the same? Like, people just don't want to
I
let go.
look at a carb and I gain weight. That's my
Yes.
favorite.
Yes.
I'm like,
People are
really? You
very
have a
hard.
superpower? Come over here and tell me all about it.
Right?
So you've seen,
Do, yes.
yeah,
Very, very, very much so.
yeah. Like, do you think that is some programming or some cultural, or is it really just people not digging a little bit deeper into something that matters so much?
I think it's both. I do think in some ways it's cultural, or can be. I do. I also think that people don't dig enough. And when you start digging just a little bit, then that box opens up. And I think people are short on the digging.
Because I often, like, you know, I try to, like, dumb it down sometimes. And I always ask people if they drive, right? Do you operate a motor vehicle? And it's like, and how much gas does your car take? And everyone knows. And then it's like, well, how much food do you need? It's like, well, what do you mean? Like, how do you know this but not that? How did you investigate that every 3,000 miles you need an oil change and that your tires need air? But you have no clue what you're putting in your mouth, right? Or how it, where is the separation of the level of importance of one versus the other? And it's almost like you just take yourself for granted, is what I've come to. Like, your car will take you to work and that matters. But if your body breaks down, it's like, well, we'll figure that out when it happens.
Well, that's just what happens when you get older.
You know, it's like, but
Yes.
it's again, if you notice the tone in my voice, a little frustrating. But it's mostly out of like, man, like I just want to shake people.
Well, yeah, and even people think they eat healthy. Like I have all the time people come and say, well, I eat healthy, but I'm struggling with, you know, my weight.
Yeah, healthy is usually a red flag
What
for
is
me.
healthy
Like if you open with that, I'm like,
mean by
oh,
that?
this is gonna be a long talk.
Yeah, it is very.
You just did a
interesting.
post about this, like healthy, homemade, organic. None of that has anything to do with calories,
Right.
Right? None of that has anything to do with macros.
But
None
I
of
also feel a lot of times, like sometimes on the coaching side, it's like we want to help, but then we're nuanced with language, and I think that sometimes people don't know how to use the right language, and in that they confuse themselves, because then they start substituting words like healthy for nutritional density or calories, or, you know, I'm trying to do better because I chose organic. I'm still not aware of the macronutrient profile, but I'm trying to do better. It's like they can't say it like that.
Yes.
And ultimately they end up confusing themselves more. And then they try to explain it to you, and it's a mess. And then you figure out like, well, it's a mess because it is a mess, right? It's like you're trying there, but you're doing a really bad job at trying, because you're not really putting in the amount of effort, like the minimal requirement of effort to even understand why you're doing it. You know, it's,
like you said, digging,
Yes.
right? It's like it's a fake trend.
and it's overwhelming now because there's so much information.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Where do you dig?
Right.
Where do
Too
you go
much.
digging?
Because no matter what you dig for, you will find something
Right.
to support
Will.
it,
Yes.
to support it or to bash it. Period. It's the time we're in.
Awesome. So my last question is, like, in terms of your gym and your fitness facility and your impact on health and fitness, it's like, what do you wish more people knew about the importance of training and eating in a way that supports not a specific goal, but just overall wellness?
I wish people understood that. I wish they could feel and see themselves a little bit farther down the road when they actually put some new things into practice, and they actually changed the nutritional value of their food and gave themselves the fuel that they needed, you know, for their body, that they pushed themselves a little bit more with their activity, to see how quickly their body will respond and how much better they will feel, how much better their mood will be. I mean, so many things change when we make those changes. I wish that they could see themselves just a little bit farther down the road and experience that for a minute, to see that it's worth diving in and taking the steps to let go of some of the things that they're holding on to so tightly now, and make the shift.
I love that answer. It's so good and it's so true. And I've even said it, like there'll be times where I'm, you know, more on top of what I'm doing or whatever it is, and I'm like, wow, like I forgot how good I feel, right? Like when you have, like, you go out of town for a couple weeks or whatever it is, it just really interrupts your flow.
Yes.
You forget how good, and we say it all the time, people are not aware of how amazing their body is, like, designed to feel.
No,
It's
they
crazy.
don't.
My last question is actually about competing specifically, just because I love that. What was the most impactful thing about that journey for you in general? Like, about that journey of competing.
The most impactful thing. Goodness, there were several things. I think I loved having somebody. I loved having a coach, and I loved having somebody taking me a place that I had no idea I could go to. Wouldn't know how to get there. So I think the experience of having a coach, and then that whole relationship and challenge, I absolutely loved. Ask me that again.
What was the most impactful thing
Yeah.
about competing? Stepping on stage.
I think I think I'm going to go back to the journey. Like that was the most impactful thing was working with somebody who took me to some place that I didn't know I could go, and watching the process and seeing that I could do so much more than I thought I could, and that I could actually I did it, you know. I think there was such a sense of accomplishment and inner pride, really, that I did something that I said I was going to do. I did it as best I could, and then it happened, and it was a wonderful culmination, I think. And I do think the relationship with the coach was phenomenal, and again, just being able to have somebody take me through the fears and the worries and the doubts, and also just knowing the steps ahead when I didn't have a clue, and seeing that was really, really life-changing.
That's awesome. That's
Love
awesome.
that.
Where can people find you? Social media, website?
Sure. So our website is edgefitnessfl.com, and you can find us on Instagram at edgefitnessfl, and also my personal page is jgbrayley1.
I will link all of that in the bio so that nobody
You can get
Love
in the description. Guys, thank you for watching today's episode. Like I said, when I mentioned this, like having conversations with people that are in the same field that we are is always insightful to get their take, their philosophy. And until next time, peace out, everybody.
Bye, guys.